What's going on, man? It's your boy Smokie, and I'm back with another video, man. Today we getting into real mer- damn, I can't even talk. Blah, 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 blah. Real mermaid sightings caught on camera around the world, man. That's what we getting into today, man. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. But I ain't gonna make y'all wait no longer, man. Let's get right into this video.
It's known for having the most insane creatures and animals around. You'll find things there you didn't even know existed. You'd really have to be very brave and courageous to go into the waters surrounding the country, considering all of the terrifying animals that don't seem to be too fond of humans. One brave scuba diver managed to capture the exact moment that he came face to face with a mermaid while observing a group of fish. The video starts off pretty normal as all sorts of different fish swim past the camera, and you can only hear the sounds of the water. But at one point, the fish look to start to swim around quite frantically, as if there is some sort of impending danger approaching. My first assumption when watching is that probably a shark is on the way or close by, which would explain the fish moving out of the way. But the video takes a surprising turn when a mermaid swims past the camera. While some people tried to suggest that it may have been a person wearing a mermaid tail, others were quick to point out that the creature was not swimming like a human and was moving incredibly fast. The comments section on YouTube is filled with some people believing it's a human in a suit and some believing it's actually a mermaid. Real or not though, it seems everyone agreed on one thing: the video is super cool and the sound of the water is insanely satisfying. Photos of a creature resembling a mermaid alien washed ashore on an Australian beach, and it has the internet going crazy trying to figure out what the creature could possibly be. But lots of people are saying it has to be a mermaid. Photographs of the strange looking skeleton were first shared on Facebook by Bobby Lee Oates, who spotted it washed ashore on Capel Sands in Queensland while on a walk. Now, Bobby Lee explained that she was stumped as she couldn't tell if the decomposing remains were human or an entirely new species. She said, "We were driving along the beach looking for a campsite, and we couldn't help but notice how much the skull looked to be in the shape of a human's. So we instantly stopped from the confusion as to what the heck this could be and why does this look like a human skull." The pictures circulating online show a very elongated bone structure with a spinal cord and ribcage and a human-looking skull with a long jaw. Further describing the remains found that many have dubbed mermaid bones, Bobby Lee told the New York Post that the body was about 6 feet long and had what resembled a tail or some sort of limb. She posted the photos on Facebook for clarity on what she found, but it just caused more mystery. This short, terrifying video that has surfaced online shows what looks to be a mermaid, or maybe merman, propped up on a barrier beside the water. This one doesn't look like a mermaid we have all been taught to think one should look like. This one is, for lack of better words, ugly and quite scary looking. Now, in the video you can see it upright, and it actually casts a shadow. The thing that makes this video so convincing is that it does absolutely not look like a human wearing a costume, and the way it dives into the water looks so interestingly different, almost in a way where no diver could actually achieve that. It's probably the creepiest mermaid video I've ever seen. The face is terrifying, the way it's moving is scary, and honestly, if I saw that in person, I'd likely run. In this footage, you can see a mermaid jumping and leaping almost as if to blend in with the dolphins that are beside it. It's like the mermaid didn't want to be detected and therefore thought blending in with the dolphins swimming would make it go undetected. Well, unfortunately for the mermaid, but fortunately for us, whoever caught this amazing footage did recognize that one of those fishes, weren't the same as the other, and thought quick enough to pull out either their phone or camera to record it for all of us to see. It looks like a mermaid to me and definitely stands out from the rest of the dolphins beside it. Crikey, these—
Man, when you seen the arms go up like that and go dive in the water, you knew that wasn't a mermaid. Like, come on now.
Mermaids from Australia caught on camera will have you not wanting to go down under. This mermaid video is interesting because it comes with like two parts. First, a woman who uploaded a picture of what appears to be a mermaid's decaying body is lying on the beach, and she captioned it saying it literally has human hands. And what we see is hands that do in fact look like human hands, laying there lifeless but with some long yellow nails. That girl needed some milk. Anyway, she then shows a picture of the spine, and it's curved, and yeah, it looks like a mermaid, right? So of course people came for her and was like, "Girl, if you come across something like this on the beach, there's no way that you're just gonna take photos. Like, why is there no video footage?
Oh,
blah,
what
blah,
is
blah.
that,
Well,
though?
the TikToker came with receipts because she then did a follow-up video that showed a video she took of it basically showing, you know, her bright hot pink nails as evidence that it was her who filmed that footage. Now, in the video, you can actually see her lifting the mermaid's arm with a stick and moving it around. It's honestly really convincing to me, to be honest, but what do you guys think? This Australian mermaid video is absolutely captivating. Scuba diving is one of the best ways to observe, you know, some of the world's most incredible creatures, and Australia is filled with all sorts of interesting wildlife. While the country is filled with different kinds of sharks and squids, it sounds like it might also be a home to mermaids. One scuba diver in Australia accidentally proved this to the world when he unknowingly captured an actual mermaid right before his own eyes. The video starts off like any other diving trip. There's a huge collection of fish swimming around, and all you can hear are kind of bubbles and rushing water. Now, in the blink of an eye, everything changes. The fish seemingly start to panic before a massive mermaid goes swimming right past the camera, leaving the diver in a state of shock. While the diver probably wasn't intending to go looking for mermaids, he managed to have the encounter of a lifetime. Of course, there were a lot of doubters who believed the mermaid was simply a person just in a costume, but many others were quick to defend the video. They argued that it did not swim like a human, and there was no person on Earth who could swim as fast as this suspected mermaid. Footage that seems to have been captured using a drone has been circulating online. It appears to be in the Indian Ocean in Australia, and it is quite attention grabbing. In the video, you can actually see a figure swimming deep within the water, and the movements as well as the way the water moves and the waves get created from the flow is honestly quite fascinating. Although it's uncertain as to who owns this footage and whether what we're looking at is a mermaid or not, many people who have watched it are undoubtedly convinced that what we're seeing is in fact a mermaid. Australia is a hotspot for mermaid sightings, so it wouldn't surprise me if they were living deep within the Indian Ocean or any other seas, as many have been said to have spotted, you know, a lot near the Great Barrier Reef. A very creepy face of what appears to be a mermaid was spotted in a cave in Australia. It is said to have been seen in Lake Cave, which is found in the Margaret River region of Western Australia, and Lake Cave is actually known for its beautiful crystal formations and a serene lake within the cave. But now, just maybe, let's add mermaids to that list, shall we? Now, someone who was there, presumably in the water, seemed to have captured footage of a face staring from within the cave looking right at them. There's no jump scare with this, but it kind of feels like one when you zoom in and actually see what's looking at you. The face looks almost human-like, but also kind of like a monster. It's hard to explain, but look for yourself and depict it how you wish. Now, it's quite a sight to see, a terrifying one at that, and I feel like the more you look at it, the more details you see, so give it a rewind a few times to catch something new, and let me know what you think. A mermaid swimming in the water has stunned viewers online. A video posted online from an anonymous person shows what appears to be a mermaid flowing and swimming ever so smoothly beneath the water. Some people pointed out that it was swimming quite slowly, however, and that might mean, you know, fatigue, or that it might not be a mermaid at all. But based on what I'm seeing though, it clearly has all the characteristics of an actual mermaid. But of course, I can't be certain without seeing it in the flesh with my own two eyes. Now, whoever was filming does seem to be close to it and got pretty decent footage of it in the water. It almost looks like they are maybe a foot or two away from it. Kind of makes you wish they would jump in and try to get its attention more.
A mermaid was spotted in Nashville in 2020 during the lockdown. Now, the video posted to TikTok shows a woman sitting in her car filming a mermaid swimming in the lake. Now, you can see a human head and a mermaid tail. The woman in the video says, "Hold on, this better not be what I think it is. It's an effing mermaid." And let me just say, that's a pretty rational reaction to that. She then added that no one around her seemed to see or even react to it, which is pretty weird if you think about it. So was it a real mermaid or just someone in a costume? Now, this happened at Percy Priest Lake, and people are torn about its authenticity. Some people think it's someone in a mermaid costume, with one user writing, "Someone in a mermaid tail, it bends when they dive down." But another one said, "But asking who would go swimming in a river alone. Personally, I don't think they would. This mermaid is real." Now, I remember when this video was posted, I was so freaked out. But apparently, this isn't the first sighting of a mermaid in Nashville, so maybe the mermaids really do like it out there. These fishermen off the coast had quite the scare when they accidentally caught a mermaid. I mean, in this video, you see that they bring the net up from the water, and a human-like arm with a webbed hand hand reaches out. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen a mermaid with webbed hands, as a research team was in a submarine one time, and a mermaid put its hand on the window of
I believe this one right here. This one is definitely real. There's no fake in this one. You can't fake stuff like that.
the submersible, and it was webbed just like this one. Now, back to the fishing video. These men were absolutely terrified by the mermaid reaching its hand out that they actually dropped the net, which is pretty unfortunate because if they were able to bring it on the boat, it would have been an incredible catch. But it startled them so bad, and rightfully so, that they dropped it. Now, is this video legit? I honestly think so. A user commented on this video and I agree with them. They said, "This video is amazing, almost a real proof about the existence of mermaids. Notice that the camera is unsteady. It means the situation took them by surprise. The creature trapped in the net is powerful and so desperate to get rid of it, and its aspect cannot correspond to a human being or any other animal." Now, it's understandable that the fishermen here got into a panic and let it go back into the sea. Not only are mermaids being caught on video, but their sound has been too. In a chilling TikTok, a girl posted a video of her fishing off the Gulf of Mexico with her cousin, and they heard these terrifying sounds. The night started out normal, but she soon started to hear strange sounds that she says belong to sirens, perhaps trying to lure them into the water. Now, in the video, the two girls are very freaked out as they say that they are the only people out there by the water because it was late at night. Now, the girl who filmed it is convinced that it was sirens because there's no way it was a person. Now, the sound is completely unsettling and gives me the chills, honestly. Now, people in the comments seem to agree with her, though one person said, "For those unaware how sirens lure, they pretend to be humans drowning or calling for help. Then they pull you in." Another person added, "It can't be a person screaming because there were no breaths in between. It's a long, frantic scream. A human would have to breathe, and if they were underwater, they would have drowned in that time." Siren. Now, whatever this is, it is terrifying. Now, this man was on a huge ship and was literally being chased by mermaids that were yelling out at him to jump into the water to be with them. In the middle of the ocean with nowhere to go, that is just terrifying. Now, he filmed multiple videos to prove it, and let me say, I am convinced. Ryan Coleman recorded a video with two creatures swimming on either side of the huge ship. Now, they were moving very quickly, keeping up the pace, and they didn't look like any other sea creature he had seen before. Now, he knew that they weren't dolphins or anything and asked people for help in identifying them, and a lot of people speculated, hey, these could be mermaids. Then there was another video he made with these same two swimming creatures, and they were making the strangest noises ever. They were moaning and screaming, and then one spoke out saying, "Jump for me." Now, whenever I hear this audio, I get full body chills. It freaks me out so much. Now, this made people think that these creatures were sirens, as sirens are said to sing songs to hypnotize sailors and make them go into the water. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that these were sirens because that's exactly what they do. Now, them coming to the boat so many times though is equally terrifying and interesting. Then there was also another clip the user took, and in the waves it appears that you can see the mermaid. Now, the fact that the fisherman had no clue what these creatures were says a lot. Now, he's even done comparisons with dolphin noises and the sound coming from the water around him, and they're not the same at all. Then, after all these videos were posted by Ryan, we learned more information about him and how possibly the government is trying to cover up these sightings. So he had posted the multiple videos from multiple separate occasions from when he's heard the sounds, and TikTok actually ended up banning his account, even though he never broke any of the guidelines. It's been said that not long after he posted these videos, the boat he was working on got randomly chosen to do a government survey on the ocean by University National Oceanographic Laboratory System, and they even set up a temporary lab on the boat with the crew on board. Now, not long after this, it said that he got into a horrible car crash, he was injured and taken to the hospital, but he lived to tell the tale. Now, since he's injured, he can't work on the boat right now, but TikTok is still censoring his account. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this sounds like the classic story of a normal person stumbling upon something that a higher authority doesn't doesn't want anyone to know, and then that person ends up tragically passing away or being silenced. So this makes me even more convinced that these videos and sounds are real, as this man exposed mermaids to the world and certain people don't want him to share it. In 1998, a diver in Hawaii named Liker claims he got the first ever documented proof that mermaids do exist. He was 20 minutes off the coast of Kauai when he saw what looked like a nude woman swimming with a pod of dolphins. Now, the woman was able to keep up the pace with the dolphins, which he thought was all. Then all of a sudden she jumped into the air and he realized that she had the lower half of a fish. Now, 10 people on a boat witnessed this incident, but the mermaid disappeared after just 2 jumps out of the water.
Damn.
Now, we have a video of this happening, and is this the exact same thing that he saw? I don't know, but the creature can surely keep up with the dolphin speed, and you can see its arms flailing about and their mermaid tail. Now, when it comes to sightings in Leichner, that wasn't the end of his sightings in Hawaii. Now, almost an hour later that same day, after seeing the mermaid and the dolphins, as he was photographing some underwater life, that same mermaid brushed up against him while swimming, and turned back around just in time for him to snap a few pictures.
What?
Speaking of this, he said, "I feel very lucky that I'm the one to finally prove to the world what people here have known for half a century. The Kauai Point mermaid is real."
This mermaid sends out a terrifying warning. Humans have this urge to explore the deep oceans, seeing what hidden mysteries that they're able to discover. However, in doing so, you land yourself in terrifying situations, such as this one. A couple researchers were trying to explore the hidden depths off the coast of Africa, trying to spot any new species. What they captured though was way out of their pay grade, because not even a second goes by where they see this human-like hand slap itself across the glass, startling everyone in the submarine. Its fingers are webbed much like a fish, but it's very clear that it has human-like fingers. It only does this for a second before drastically swimming away, as if it was sending out a warning to those guys that they are not welcome here. Is this mermaid trying to hide something from us? This mermaid was captured after attacking a diver. We often forget that mermaids and sirens can be hostile creatures. They are not our friends. This magical looking footage of a mermaid swimming away into the dark depths of the ocean has a horrifying backstory to this. While on vacation, a man decided to plan a scuba diving day for himself and record his experience. His biggest mistake was doing this alone, because in the end, he truly wasn't. While taking a zoom into some coral reefs, he spotted movement out of the corner of his eye. At first, he thought it was a shark, until he saw a human hand lunge towards him and smack the camera right out of his hands.
What?
Thankfully though, he was able to quickly catch it and continue recording, flipping it over to his attacker. And that's what we see here, a mermaid trying to swim away after the encounter. This mermaid was trapped on a beach. Plenty of things wash up along our beaches, but what happens when you experience an entire mermaid? While taking a night walk along the beach, a passerby could have sworn they heard groaning and crying coming from somewhere. Coming closer towards the water, they were able to get a better visual of where this sound was emerging from. It was a mermaid covered head to toe in a bunch of garbage that was left in our oceans. He immediately sought help from other people to come over and help release her. They tried to approach her carefully as to not startle her, but that clearly didn't work. They couldn't understand her language as she was yelling and thrashing at them. She felt that they were going to hurt her, but in the end, they managed to carefully take off the ropes that were constraining her and released her back into the water. A young mermaid washed up along the beaches of South Africa. I can only imagine how terrified this young mermaid must have been to travel so far from home. However, this is the first time we see a mermaid with a more whale-like, shark-like tail. It doesn't look like your average colorful fish tail like the Little Mermaid. There is something severely wrong with this mermaid though, and based on all the flies that are constantly surrounding her and jerking movements, I feel she might be in critical condition. It doesn't help that everyone surrounding her keeps placing their hands along her tail, trying to figure out if she's real or not. Much like other sea creatures though, sometimes they'll be beached on land because they are either sick or passing on. And this sadly might be the case for this Little Mermaid right here. What are your thoughts on this? Japan's notorious mermaid mummy was discovered inside a temple. It all started with its first discovery in 1736, where a fisherman accidentally caught this creature while making his rounds across the ocean. At first, he thought it was just a normal fish, so he decided to put it up for sale in his market. However, one person sees the strange fish and comes to the conclusion that this might in fact be a real mermaid. Quickly taking off the fisherman's hands, the man turns it into a family heirloom and as an offering to a temple. keeping it around for generations to come. Everyone came around to worship this thing, believing that it was the legendary Ningyo. Now, in our time, the researchers that came across this thing during their travels, they needed to see what this thing was for themselves. So for 40 years, this thing has now been locked up under their protection.
Damn.
And they continue to do tests on it.
40 years
Mermaids
is crazy.
are making more appearances with our ever-changing planet, washing up on shores and caught in the act. Let's dive into some mermaid videos that might just have you second guessing. This mermaid is actually alive. Around 12 years ago, a small town along the coast of British Columbia experienced a minor storm that caused a lot of debris to wash up along their beaches. The day after the storm had passed, two friends wanted to take a trip down to the beaches to see what they were able to pick up and discover. But there, out in the distance, was what they believed to be a woman unconscious beneath the ocean debris. They
What?
immediately sprang into action to go and help her. But as they got closer though, they noticed something was immediately off about the woman. Where her legs were supposed to be was a fishtail. As the boy in the video got closer to inspect further, the mermaid sprang up with a terrifying screech, its mouth and eyes black as
Whoa.
the night as its jaw unhinged to reach out towards the male. What happens next remains a mystery. A mermaid was brought in by a hurricane. Unlike the last video though, it's clear that this one did not make it through the night. Discovered beneath a bunch of ocean debris was an incredibly tiny mermaid all shriveled up from being trapped under the sun. It's quite the sad sight. Her tail is completely dried out, her body is extremely thin from possibly being there for a long while, and her face sunken and darkened from decay. Whatever happened here, it seems that this mermaid was brought in way too far from the storm and was possibly injured from the event, and so she remained trapped there, unable to make it back into the ocean and eventually passed on from the lack of hydration. What a
Dang.
terrifying way to go. What would you do in this situation? This mermaid makes her peace with her short life. Many marine animals over time find themselves getting closer to the surface when they feel that it's time to move on from this world, and this seems to be the case with this mermaid. Walking along the shores in the early morning, a man comes across a mermaid washed up along the coast. The scene is very eerie but also relaxing. It almost seemed like it was an active choice on the mermaid's part. The sunrise also brings a wonderful atmosphere to this, very peaceful. The mermaid appears to be covered in moss and other ocean plant life, indicating that she's probably been there for a long while at this point. As people pass her by though, not many seem to care and carry about their day. I
That's
don't blame
crazy.
them. It's probably best to leave scenarios like this for professionals like the government. This mermaid is escorted off in a stretcher. Fishermen have all the fun when it comes to making new discoveries, and if anything, they're the ones we need to thank for not only new animals, but mermaids as well. Like this video that was uploaded over 10 years ago, a beautiful mermaid was being lifted out off a fishing boat and placed into a stretcher. Something must have happened.
That one look fake to me. I don't care what nobody say. That just don't look real at all.
There must have been an accident of sorts out in the open water. But she is striking though, with her pink and blue tail and straw-colored hair, appearing like an actual underwater princess coming to grace us with her presence. What happens after though was surprising, as they're actually trying to place her back in the water. That warms my heart in a way, and I'm sure she will be eternally grateful for their kindness and compassion after whatever it was that happened. Not all mermaids are beautiful and gorgeous. They are terrifying. This siren terrified a bunch of locals on a cruise while they were
wow.
exploring South Africa. It was first discovered by one of the employees on the ship, thinking that someone had accidentally fallen overboard along their travels and was waving them down to help. They weren't waving them down though, because what he was witnessing was the flipping of a mermaid's tail. There, basking in the sun, was this horrifying looking creature, swaying their head back and forth, stretching their neck out to an abnormal degree as the ship passed them by. To their surprise, the creature noticed the ship in the back, immediately baring its teeth and hissing loudly towards them.
That's crazy, man. Once again, man, if y'all new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You feel me? Go ahead and subscribe one time for the boy, man. And I'm out.